Listen, we're in the Champions League. We're in the Champions League. Finishing top 3. We're in the Champions League. Where's Liverpool? Not there. Where's Chelsea? Not there. Where's Spurs? Not there. Oh my God!
Man United 1, Copenhagen 0. Oh my days, this team never does anything easy. Almost gave me a heart attack in there, honestly, man. Blood pressure through the roof. Where do you start? Let's just start with the stars of the show, really. Andre Onana, match winner, man. Really, really happy for him. Massive, massive save. Harry Maguire with the winning goal as well. And the man of the match, even though technically you could say it's Onana, but Christian Eriksen. I know he got it on TNT as well, or the UEFA man of the match. He completely changed the game. That game, that performance, it's been indicative of what we've been, man. We're not good on the eye. We're not fun to watch. We're not exciting. We're not proactive. We're not aggressive for large spells anyway. First half, it was so bad. It just wasn't working. I mean, Erik's tried to go with Scott McTominay as a 10 or the most advanced midfielder. And he said we needed more football. We kind of said it like when Casemiro was playing. He come off again at half time. And I think the same move happened. I think it was Eriksen who come on then. And it's like we seem to be not learning from that. Whether Erik's looking at it from a tactical point of view, I don't know why he's persisting with Scott. And then we're making changes to say we want more football. Like, you know, it wasn't working when with Amrabat and Scott McTominay in their midfield and Bruno. Bruno was deep next to Amrabat. It was sideways. It was boring. It was lethargic. You know, Højlund's feeding off scraps. Rashford wasn't in the game. We were just waiting for a moment. That's all we were waiting for, is a moment. And when you bring the better footballers onto the pitch, when you bring people with a bit of tech, a little bit of know-how, a little bit of quality, the game completely changed. And I'm not saying we battered Copenhagen in the second half, because we didn't. Even that wasn't, you know, exactly how we want our Manchester United to look, but it was so much better than the first half. I don't know why Mason Mount isn't playing as well. I don't know what's gone on there. Has he picked up a slight injury, or is he not quite right? Came on really late against Sheffield United, didn't feature tonight, and I thought the game was crying out for him. But Christian Eriksen was the difference maker. And in the game, in the first half, that, you know, lacked so much quality. I think Paul Scholes said on TNT that it just looked like a Europa League game, you know, not much quality in it. And Copenhagen just looking comfortable. They weren't playing us off the park, but it was just us just allowing them to be comfortable, allowing them to play their game. You know, Onana saves a shot that's going wide after like a minute and a half. Then in the 4th minute, they hit the post. You know, Harry Maguire goes in on the play after Amrabat loses it. And then they're in, the ball goes over Rafael Varane's head. Dallow's late arriving and they nearly score. And you're thinking, here we go again. We get to half time with a really lethargic, poor performance. And Erik ten Hag said it was really, really poor. And we've got to, I feel like a broken record, we've got to improve on that. Like, we have to play, we can't play like that against City, we'll get absolutely destroyed. But it is frustrating to keep seeing that we're not starting games properly. I mean, we were against bottom of the league on Saturday against Sheffield United. And for the first 20 minutes, they were just as comfortable as Copenhagen. Copenhagen obviously created a little bit more. And when you look at the overall chances created, probably about five shots on target each, or 5 and 4, you know, 15 shots a pop each. It was a fairly even game. The only time I'd say we dominated was once we scored the first goal, we should have went on to score the second and put the game out of sight. And what I will say is, although the chances look quite even, my biggest criticism of us today is when we did get in a little bit of a groove, we did get on the front foot, we were just so wasteful. Rashford clean through on goal, takes a baggy touch, hits off his shin, goes out for a goal kick. Garnacho clean through, stutters, gets nervous, keeper comes in and gets it, I think, or did he run it out of play? I think the keeper come and got it. Scott McTominay, I think, set him a pass at the edge of the box. Yeah, that was it when it was 3-on-2. Should have scored. Then McTominay himself hits it over the bar. Just not putting the game to bed in crucial positions. And that nearly bit us in the arse. It really, really did, which I'll get to in a second. But Harry Maguire, listen, he deserves that. Harry Maguire, for all the criticism he's got, he deserves his flowers today. He does. He deserves his flowers in general. You know, he got an assist against Brentford. He was man of the match, I think, against Sheffield United. And he's scored the winning goal tonight in a game where, let's be honest, our forwards weren't going to score, guys. Let's just be honest. Like, our forwards weren't going to score. So he deserves massive credit. Listen, he's had to come through a lot of adversity. You know, we've all got our opinions on Harry Maguire in the long term, and he's had to come through a lot of, you know, people have been saying abuse and people heckling him. But to get your head down and get a little bit of a run, get a little bit of form together, that's what it's about. You know, we was all there saying we should have took the 30 million or 35 million, whatever, from West Ham, and we would have went in a different direction. That doesn't mean those things aren't true. But to be fair to Harry Maguire, which you do have to give him credit for, he's taken his chance where there's been injuries to the squad. We've needed people to step in and be assured, have an impact on the game. You know, assist and a goal in his last 3 games and a man of the match performance. What more can you ask from Harry Maguire? You can't. I know he made one mistake in the first half, but other than that, he was pretty good. So it was really nice to see. It was good to see him score, because you know when the whole team, the rest of the team isn't functioning, especially at the top end of the pitch, forwards not taking their chances, wingers not crossing it when they're supposed to cross it, people being wasteful, it was going to come from a little bit of magic, you know. And I'm not saying it was a magical goal, but maybe an unlikely source, someone who's been on the receiving end of a tough time where it's easy for him to be called upon and fail and will. And how many times have we said it as Man United fans? Well, I'll definitely speak for myself, and I know a lot of you guys will echo this sentiment. Some people just have an agenda and want to see a player do shit all the time just because they don't like the player. It's different having valid criticism for Harry Maguire as to why you don't think maybe he's, you know, stylistically what we need. That's a different conversation. But as a Man United fan, when anyone puts on the red shirt and crosses the white line, well, we do have a white shirt this year, but when they cross the white line, I want them to do as well as possible. I want them to play the best they can play. How many times I say it? Like when Harry Maguire was getting booed in the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, and I said that was out of order. What's the point in booing him? Like, what do you want him to do? Have worse confidence and keep conceding more goals? So long as you're a Man United player, I'll support you. And that goes the same for Scott McTominay. Look, I'm not saying that he played well today, because he didn't. I don't know how he stayed on the pitch long enough, but every time they cross the white line, it's our job as fans when the game's on to want those players to do well. I had massive frustrations. I couldn't believe Scott McTominay stayed on the pitch so long. I thought he was going to probably be the one to come off at half-time, but Eric kept him on and went a different way and took off Amrabat. Could have been either or, to be fair. But I just feel like those players who are on the periphery, you know, Scott McTominay in the last couple of games has scored 2 massive goals to help us win against Brentford. Scored a goal against Sheffield United. I know he gave away the penalty, gave away another penalty today. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag for him in the last few weeks, but he's had input. But that shouldn't mask the lack of quality that we're seeing. You know, we are seeing that, and that is a big, big problem. But today was just about winning. I said today is pretty much bigger than the derby. You know what I mean? In terms of couldn't afford to lose. And it felt like it was going to be one of them nights. It felt like that. And then you get to the end. Listen, I said to Josh, I said, it's just game management, yeah? We had chances to get it to 2-0. We didn't take them. I'm like, just see this out. And when the corner comes in, you know, the keeper's in the box as well, you're thinking, just head this out, and then that'll be the last kick of the game. And I'll be honest, I didn't even think that was a penalty. I was fuming. I looked at it back and I didn't really think it was a penalty. I don't know what you guys think about the high foot thing and that. I don't even think he made contact with him. Maybe I need to see it a few more times, but I saw it 2 or 3 times on the replay. I didn't even think it was a penalty. And I thought that was robbery to even give that penalty. But Andre Onana massively deserves that moment as well. You've seen my reactions when Andre's not been at it. You know, I've had my little up and down moments. But essentially, when I calmed down after the international break, I said, we do need to stick with him. We do need to stick with him. There's going to be some flaws in his game. He's got to get his confidence up. He's a better keeper than what we were seeing before. Yes, there's some issues with his fundamentals and, you know, his goalkeeper mechanics, how he saves the ball, how he reacts to saving the ball. But he's our goalkeeper, man. He's our number one. And if Ten Hag took him out, you know, it gets a little bit more uncertain. You have to stick with it, especially this early in the season. And that's why, you know, he deserved that moment. Massive moment for him. I know afterwards he was saying, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. But you saw the celebrations. And you know what? For 2 players who remember in the Houston Texans Stadium, NRG Stadium, when we played against, I can't remember who it was, Harry Maguire, and him having a little spat, him shouting at Harry Maguire, and the press tried to make something of it. And tonight, those 2 are the stars of the show, as well as Christian Eriksen, who was my man of the match. Absolutely changed the game. Top notch from him. Roll on Copenhagen away. Roll on the derby on Sunday. Hopefully we can get a massive, massive win there. We'll have to play way better than that. But if we do, 3 points behind City. That's all I'm saying. You never know. But playing like that in the first half, we'll get moved to. Anyway, smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Come on.